Hi everyone, welcome back to Follow the Needle in the Thread. My name is Belinda. I haven't recorded a video for a couple of weeks. There's been a lot going on over here in our little part of the world. So I have been unwell, just with some migraines and that kind of thing. And we had Halloween last night, which was kind of fun. Halloween is not a big thing in Australia, certainly not as big as it is in America, but it's starting to pick up a bit of momentum. And the little area that I live in does quite a big event. So we had, I reckon we probably had about 300 kids come past our front door last night, which was very exciting and lots of fun. So yeah, lots of things going on around here that's fun and not necessarily cross-stitch related. I've given you a little bit of a change of scenery today. So previously I've filmed in my sewing room with my sewing room cupboards as my backdrop, but wanted to switch it up a little bit today. So I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my backyard in the background. Unfortunately, you can see my ring light when I move my head the wrong way. Anyway, it's okay, we'll get there. So, as far as what I've been doing in my stitching life in the last couple of weeks since I last recorded, I haven't finished anything, getting close, but I have a couple of WIPS that are making some really good progress. I've started a couple of new WIPS, and I have a couple of items that I've bought that I will talk about my experience with them, and I will talk about a couple of things that I'm considering buying. So my first WIP that I will go back a step. So I was cleaning out my sewing room cupboard and making a list of all of my cross-stitch projects that I have in progress, and I found some more that I hadn't covered previously, and that included a couple of items that were already finished and I haven't actually framed them or done anything with them. So first one was just a little small, it's just a little butterflies. I think it was meant to be a coaster, but I don't know what I've done with the coaster thing to insert it into. So I'm just trying to think about what I can do with these projects, because there's only so many things you can have framed and hung around the house, right? I did see last night, I think it was, that Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch posted a tutorial on making a project bag with her finished cross stitches, which I thought was a great idea. Don't know if I'll do it with this one, but it's a possibility. That way I can turn them into something that's a bit more usable. Apologies, my dog decided that she'd wanted to choose that moment to be banging on the door to come inside, so now she's sitting at my feet. Anyway, the other item that I found that was a finished item that I just need to get framed is this pattern here. It's a John Clayton International design of tulip fields, and I had bought these as a series of them. I think I've got 5 in total, and I had planned on making these and framing them to put down our rear hallway on the wall on there, as a bit of a series as you walk down the hall. We love traveling, or I love traveling. My husband endures it. No, he likes it too. Once we've been, he loves it, but he's not as keen on it as I am. So all of these scenes I thought were really pretty. I do need to iron it, but that's my finished tulips that I have done. I had actually forgotten about this series, so cleaning out my cupboard was actually kind of a good thing. All right, so then moving on to my WIPs. So the first one, which we've talked about a lot, is my teddy bears. So I have slowly been doing the outlines on this one. So in the last week I've outlined the I've outlined these ribbon spools on the side of the bookshelf, and I've completed doing the outlining of all the bookshelf items. So next I will probably move into doing all the outline of this teddy bear, and then I've just got this side to finish. So getting there, it's just a process that I don't really like doing, so I've been avoiding it. So that one is a Dimensions Gold kit. It is this one here. Dimensions Gold collection, buttons and bears. Very sweet. And I had started this one way back in 2005, 2006, when I was pregnant with my eldest son, and his nursery was a teddy bear themed nursery, so it was supposed to be framed and put on the wall. Didn't get it finished. I've done so much of it, it's quite frustrating really, but I figured now it's a sewing room theme as well, so I can frame it and put it on the wall in my sewing room. The next one that I have been working on is my Caterpillar cross stitch Hello Holly stitch along. So my last video I posted my unboxing of this, and I have managed to pretty well keep up with it. I've only got a little bit left of the part 3 to do before part 4 is released on Monday. So this one here was a mystery stitch along. So it came in a pack that looks like this. We didn't know what the actual picture was going to be. And so far mine is looking like this. Really loving the design. I've been actually doing this one on the train. I normally do my smalls on the train, but because this is linen and I'm stitching it in hand, I've been finding it easy enough to take on the train. I have done one small, semi-small mistake, and I'm toying with whether I undo it or just leave it as it is. I think I'm going to just leave it, but I'm just waiting to see how the rest of the pattern plays out. So my polar bear is out by 1 square. So the orange hat should be moved up 1 square, and then the whole rest of the polar bear with him to be not sitting underneath that green pom-pom on his head. I'm just kind of going with it at the moment because I really don't want to undo all of that. And I actually don't think it's going to make a massive difference at the end. So I might just leave it as it is. But very much enjoying doing that one. The next WIP that I have been working on, and I don't think I'd started this when I last filmed, so this is potentially a new start. I might have done a tiny bit, is a Mirabilia. So I remember talking last time about how both my son and I played the violin. And so when I saw this Mirabilia, I had to have it. A, I love the colours of her dress, and B, I love that she's playing the violin. So I had bought the pattern last time. I've kitted it up, and I have made a start. Not a very big start, but still a start. You can't finish things until you start them, right? So I've started the arches and then a little bit of the flowers. Really tiny start, but love it. Can't wait to keep this one going. Okay, the next WIP that I have been working on is my block party meow. It's this one here, my hands-on design. Sorry, I should have said with my Mirabilia, I'm using the called for threads, and I'm stitching it on a 28 count linen or even weave. Can't remember the color. I feel like it was natural. Okay, the next one is my block party. It's so close. So I have finished the side panel. It again using the called for DMC, except for the fish, which I switched out to a different DMC because I felt like they were getting lost. They were a white, and they were just getting lost in the color of the fabric. So this is as Zweigart 28 count Brittany in Ecru, I think. And then that's the top. So I'm really close. I've just got to finish doing that diamond pattern in the center, and then do the back stitching of their whiskers, and it'll be ready to be put together into the little pillow. I've ordered the pins to go on the top, and I've also ordered other pins for the other block party designs, hands-on designs block parties, and I think I'm going to stitch the series. I love them, and I've had heaps of fun working on this one, so it's been really pleasurable. The next one that I have been working on is the Victorian House by Studio Jarmon, which I bought on Etsy. And this is the pattern that's gotten me back into cross stitching. I love the pattern, I think it's gorgeous. I am a little bit worried, and I've said this in previous videos, that the detail isn't necessarily strong enough to be really obvious what it is. So I decided I'm going to stitch one room and see what it looks like. So I'm stitching this room here. I did start it in the middle, but now I am moving more into Royal Rose stitching. I always was a cross-country stitcher. I didn't know any other method, but with these full coverage pieces, I've really been enjoying, once I've started looking at all the different ways of stitching on Flosstube. I learned about Royal Rose, and I've learned about the diagonal stitching method and so on. But I've really been enjoying doing Royal Rose. So I've kind of adapted Royal Rose to work in with the work that I had already done on this piece. So essentially I had started it doing cross country, and then I learned about Royal Rose, so I've started doing it in columns, but rather than from the top down, I've been going from the bottom up, because that works better for all the confetti that I had already worked in. So this one here is where I'm up to. So I've got lots of part threads, and you can see my confetti where I had started doing cross country when I very first started this piece. I don't know, maybe on the picture, on the camera, it's starting to look a bit better, but when I'm looking at it in person, I'm not sure that it's really obvious what the picture is, but I'll keep on persisting. I'm using Markup RXP to do this one and keep track of where I'm up to. And according to that, I have done 2,817 stitches, which makes me 2.5%. Out of a total of 111,000 stitches. But yes, if it works, I'm really hopeful that it'll work out really well, and I love it, but I'm reserving my excitement at the moment. So I'm doing this one with the called for DMC and on a 14 count Aida. When I started this one, I hadn't discovered Flosstube, and I had gone and bought some 18 count Aida, and decided that no, my eyes couldn't handle it. I was not going to enjoy stitching it, and I had a piece of 14 count which was big enough, so I switched over to that. In hindsight, I probably should have kept on going with the 18 count, or even now I probably would go with a 25 count easy count, but I'm not starting it again. Not after doing nearly 3,000 stitches and spending 34 hours on it. I don't know, maybe it would be worth going back, but I'll just keep on persisting for now and see how we go. Yeah, so that's on a 14 count Aida at the moment in my Q-snap, which I'm really enjoying using. So Q-snaps are something that I discovered recently as well. And yeah, I'm really enjoying using it. So I want to get some more, but I'll talk more about that later. My next new start, I'll get the pattern up on my iPad so I can show you. This one's a little bit, I'm not overwhelmed by big pieces. I just figured that one day I'll get it done. And this one is huge. But I'm kind of excited about it, and I've seen a few that are finished and they look amazing when they're done. So it is by Lord Liberdan, and it's an epic Pokemon All Generations. That's the picture of it there. It's insane, but it looks like so much fun. So the pattern is free on Lord Liberdan's website. I am stitching it on a 22 count aider. So I live in Western Australia. There's only one really stitching store in Perth that stocks lots of these sort of supplies for cross stitching. I've got another store closer to me, but they have a very, very limited supply of stock. So they had a 14 count and an 18 count, and we have another store here as well called Spotlight, which I imagine is very much like Joann's or Michael's in the States. So they have everything from homewares to party supplies and costumes and curtains, and then you have your wool and your sewing material and all the rest of it. And again, they've got some cross-stitch supplies, but very limited. They had some pre-packaged 14 count and 18 count, a couple of bolts of those things, but not very much of anything really. So I was impatient, nothing like me. And this is an epic piece. It's 1 million stitches. And I made a start. I ended up deciding our local store had a 22 count aider. I wanted to get an easy count, but I've ended up just gridding this myself. I haven't gridded the whole piece of fabric. I will just grid it as I go, but I've gridded some and I've made a start. So there is the start of my epic Pokemon All-Stars. I reckon this will take me about 40 years to finish. You know, whatever. But I think it's super cute, and I love like the first one coming alive there. My son did tell me the name of this character. This is for him, so he'll get it when he's about 50. That's okay. But yeah, my son told me the name of this character. I can't remember what it was. But I've really enjoyed the colours, the characters coming to life, and working in Royal Rose on this one. So slowly working through, deciding, so this is the width of the first page, and then this first page will probably come down to about here. So I'm trying to decide whether I'll do the whole of the first page and then move across, or whether I should just keep on working my way across and do the whole top section. Can't decide at the moment, but just keep on persisting. So this one, I have uploaded the top left corner into markup, and I am at, so the top left corner has 250,000 stitches, and just give it a moment to load. I am up to 1906 stitches, which is 0.76%. I've spent 29.5 hours on it, but I don't think I really have. So my iPad, I've set it so that it doesn't go to sleep too quickly, and markup just keeps on recording that I'm stitching even when I'm not. So I don't think I've actually spent that much time on it. Yeah, so really, really enjoying that one, but it's going to be a long time in the making. So as I said, when I was sorting out my sewing cupboard, I found a bundle of patterns that either I haven't started at all, and I haven't brought those ones out here, but I've brought out the ones that I have made a start on. So this one here is called Fleur de Lis, is the brand, called Breakdance, and I bought this one to do for my mum. So she had like an African kind of theme in her study. And I did finish one of these, and she's got that framed now in her home. But I have done a pretty decent start on it. So that's probably about just over half I've done on that one. So excited to try and keep it going. So this one was a kit, so using all the products that they've provided in the kit. The next one is another one from the series that I showed before. So the John Crompton International, and this one is St. Basil's Cathedral. So that is the finished product on the pattern. And again, it was a kit. So I am that far along. The next one is also one that's been going for a very long time. So this one is a kit. It's a Sunset brand, and it's called Mysteries of the Deep, which was designed by Nicholas Charles. And that's it there. So this one I was going to put into the main bathroom of our home. And again, so close. It's not a complete full coverage, but it's pretty close. I've got a fish at the top here that I'm kind of working on. And there we have what I had done. So again, I've learnt my lesson on the back stitching. I haven't done any back stitching on this piece. But if I went ahead to do it, I don't think it would actually take me as long as it will take me to do the teddy bear one. That one had a lot of detailed back stitching. This one is really just the outlines of the fish. And there's a lot of half cross stitching in there to produce the effects of the water. So I don't think this one would take me long to finish at all if I sat down and got on with it. I love the colours in it. It's a real, Australian Great Barrier Reef style of picture, which is cool. You got a little Nemo at the bottom there. Very cute. And the other item that I pulled out when I was doing that clean out is this project here. So this one is not a cross stitch, it's an embroidery. And it was put out by, oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name of the company that put it out. I will chase that up and put it into the picture, into the video. But it was a 365-day embroidered quilt. So both my mum and I were working on this, and it's a printed panel. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. And each day you did a little square. And I've done a chunk of them and then stopped. But I really, really enjoy doing this kind of embroidery. So I've gotten it back out and hope to get back on it. Oh, here we go. Stitch Therapy 365 by Helen Stubbings of Hugs and Kisses, which is an Australian company. I think they're based in Tasmania. I think, I could be wrong. Could be leading you up the garden path. So that one was great. And so she sent us the stitching instructions for this every day for that year, with how she had stitched hers. Mum and I are doing our own thing. We're following her guidelines a little bit, about where to put the satin stitch versus the stem stitch and that kind of thing. But the colours, I am using mostly variegated threads. So I've bought a heap of the Cottage Garden threads, which is an Australian company, with some beautiful, beautiful threads. So I've got some purples and some blues and some real motley, different coloured variegated threads. Lots of fun. Really, really enjoyed using those, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself for putting this down and not keeping it going. So got it out now. It's gonna happen. The other things that I have been looking at, so as I said, I was really liking using the Q-snap. So I decided to buy a Q-snap style frame from Amazon. Lesson learned. Oh, sorry, I knocked the camera. Put you back a little bit. Okay, so I bought this frame on Amazon. Can't remember the name of the person who was sending it. Essentially, it's been a failure. The snappy bits are really hard to get on. It falls apart every 5 seconds. And when I took it in and out of I took my piece of fabric in and out of it, it's actually snagged a bit of my fabric. Luckily, it's far enough over that it won't be visible when I get it framed, but I'm gonna have to put some fray stop or something on it to stop it from getting wrecked and getting worse. But yes, unfortunately, this was a fail. So I will be buying more proper Q-snap brands in the future. The other thing I have bought myself is a light. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It's a floor stand light with the magnifying glass. Again, this was just from Amazon. I can put the link of the one that I chose, but it's very bendable. I haven't got it plugged in, but it's got different lights and like you can increase and decrease the strength of the light. And it was only about 70 Australian dollars, so it wasn't too bad price-wise. But yes, on the subjects of stands, I do want to invest in a proper stand. I've really enjoyed using the Q-snap, but I do still use my hoops as well. I'm going to get some Nurge hoops and give them a go. I've looked at your Lowry stand and Patoki stand, which both look amazing. I do know someone with the Patoki, sorry, I know that's not the proper name for it, and she loves it. She works with just an ordinary embroidery hoop and does a lot of stump work and embroidery, and thinks that it's well worth the investment. I've seen that the Q-snaps can go into them. So I've been watching lots of videos on Flosstube of the reviews of all the different stands and things. And I think that's going to be on my Christmas list. So if you've got any recommendations for good stands that fit both the Q-snap and a normal embroidery hoop slash Nurge stand, then let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate the feedback. I also want to start doing a little bit more of Stitch With Me type videos, but I've just got to work out how to get the camera angles right and things. I recorded one the other day, but you can't really see what I'm doing. I might insert a little bit of a snip of it so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you've got any suggestions on different gear that you can use to do that sort of thing, then I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, my plans, I've ditched the WIP Go board. It ain't working for me. I'm a bit of a mood stitcher, and if I decided that I wanted to be working on my Pokemon cross stitch one day, then I'm not going to pay attention to the WIP Go. If I decide I want to work on my cats, my Meow Block Party, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just hoping that I keep my interest rotating through all of those projects enough to get them finished. And yeah, the other thing I've been looking at is I really want to do a Heaven and Earth designs. I feel like I'm going to need to live till I'm about 200 to finish all of these projects, but that's okay. So that at the moment, the Heaven and Earth designs are just releasing their patterns for the stitch along for 2026. They've released the full pictures of them all now, or the little snippets. They've got like a board with the 12 different designs or 16 different designs that they're releasing for 2026 as part of the stitch along. None are really speaking to me strongly, so I think I might give it a miss, but there's still some other heaven and earth designs that I would really like to stitch. So yeah, watch this space. There's probably more new starts coming this way. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Happy stitching. If you've enjoyed my video, I'd love for you to put a comment or a like. Thanks to all the people that have subscribed to my channel. Again, I can't believe that anyone would watch it all, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, hope you have a fabulous week. I'll see you next time. Bye.